U.S. Special Forces are some of the most elite military units in the world, known for their unparalleled training, precision, and ability to handle the most dangerous and complex missions. In this video, we'll be looking at 5 of the most dangerous missions ever carried out by U.S. Special Forces. These operations stand out not only for their extreme difficulty, but for the courage, skill, and professionalism displayed by the men and women who executed them. Each mission represents a U.S. Special Forces are often called upon to carry out the most complex and perilous missions imaginable. Whether operating in hostile foreign territories, behind enemy lines, or in extreme conditions, Special Forces soldiers face dangers few can comprehend. These elite units are highly trained and equipped to deal with challenges that ordinary soldiers could not even begin to fathom. Some of the most dangerous missions in modern military history have been carried out by these men and women, with success often coming at an incredible cost. This video takes a deep dive into 5 of the most dangerous missions ever undertaken by U.S. Special Forces, missions that tested the limits of strategy, courage, and resilience. 1. Operation Neptune Spear, 2011. One of the most significant and dangerous missions in recent U.S. military history. Operation Neptune Spear was the operation that led to the death of Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. For years, the U.S. had been hunting the mastermind behind the September 11th attacks. The intelligence community tracked bin Laden to a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, in 2011, and a plan was quickly developed to infiltrate the compound and either capture or kill him. The mission was carried out by SEAL Team 6, one of the most elite Special Forces teams in the world. The operation was fraught with challenges. Bin Laden was hiding in a heavily fortified compound in a foreign country, and the mission had to be carried out without alerting the Pakistani authorities. The stakes were incredibly high. Not only did the mission have to be carried out successfully, but it had to be done in a way that avoided a diplomatic incident with Pakistan, who was unaware of the operation. The operation began with a helicopter insertion into the compound. However, one of the helicopters experienced a mechanical failure and crashed upon landing, causing concern that the mission might be compromised. The SEALs quickly adapted, moving forward with their objective and neutralizing bin Laden in a matter of minutes. Despite the crash, they retrieved critical intelligence from the compound, completed their mission, and extracted safely, leaving Pakistan with little time to react. The risks were enormous. The raid took place in a foreign country, against a heavily protected target, and with no room for error. Despite the helicopter crash and the highly sensitive nature of the mission, the SEALs executed the operation flawlessly, marking it as one of the most successful and dangerous missions in modern military history. 2. Operation Red Wings, 2005. Operation Red Wings, which took place in the rugged mountains of Afghanistan, is one of the most tragic yet heroic missions carried out by U.S. Special Forces. In June 2005, a 4-man SEAL reconnaissance team was sent on a mission to gather intelligence on a Taliban leader, Ahmad Shah, in the Kunar province. The mission quickly turned deadly after the team was ambushed by a much larger Taliban force. The team was outnumbered and surrounded, and the situation escalated into a firefight that would become one of the deadliest engagements in recent U.S. military history. The SEALs were caught in a hostile environment with little to no chance of escape. Outnumbered, the team fought valiantly, but as the battle wore on, they realized that their only hope of survival was to call for reinforcements. Lieutenant Michael Murphy, the team leader, made the selfless decision to expose himself to enemy fire in order to communicate their location and request backup. He was mortally wounded, but was able to successfully relay their position before he fell. Despite their best efforts to fight back, 3 of the SEALs, Matthew Axelson, Danny Dietz, and Murphy, were killed in action. Marcus Luttrell, the sole survivor, was later rescued by a group of Afghan villagers who hid and protected him from the Taliban. Luttrell's story was later immortalized in the book and film Lone Survivor. The operation's dangers were intensified by the unforgiving mountainous terrain, which made it difficult for the SEALs to maneuver or seek shelter. They were also vastly outnumbered, which put them in an extremely vulnerable position. Despite this, the SEALs fought bravely until the very end. Their actions highlighted the courage and commitment that U.S. Special Forces are known for, but it also brought home the heavy price of war. 3. The rescue of Captain Richard Phillips, 2009. In April 2009, Captain Richard Phillips, the commander of the U.S.-flagged cargo ship Maersk Alabama, was captured by Somali pirates off the coast of Africa. The pirates hijacked the ship, and Phillips was taken hostage in a small lifeboat as the pirates demanded ransom. The U.S. Navy responded swiftly, deploying Navy SEALs for a daring rescue mission. The operation, dubbed Operation Ranger, was incredibly dangerous. The pirates were heavily armed, and Phillips's life was at risk every moment. The pirates held Phillips in a lifeboat far off the coast of Somalia, making it difficult for the Navy to locate them and mount a rescue operation. The SEALs kept the lifeboat under constant surveillance, waiting for the right moment to strike. The Navy SEALs, working in conjunction with the USS Bainbridge, which was stationed nearby, were able to track the lifeboat for several days. After tense negotiations, the SEALs had a brief window of opportunity to act. In a high-pressure situation, 3 SEAL snipers aboard the USS Bainbridge took out all 3 pirates holding Phillips hostage, firing nearly simultaneously. Phillips was rescued unharmed, and the pirates were killed. The mission was extremely dangerous because Phillips was in close proximity to the pirates, and any wrong move could have resulted in his death. The SEALs had to act with precision, knowing that they had one chance to rescue Phillips without escalating the situation further. Their calmness, training, and focus under intense pressure ensured the success of the mission. 4. Operation Gothic Serpent, 1993. Operation Gothic Serpent, which culminated in the Battle of Mogadishu, was one of the most harrowing and deadly missions in U.S. military history. The operation was aimed at capturing Somali warlord Mohammed Farah Aidid, whose militia had been responsible for numerous attacks on U.S. and UN forces. The operation involved U.S. Army Rangers, Delta Force operators, and other special units. The plan was to capture a key figure within Aidid's inner circle, but things quickly went wrong. U.S. forces launched a raid to capture Aidid's associates, but the operation quickly devolved into a full-scale battle after Somali forces ambushed the U.S. units in the heart of Mogadishu. The battle escalated when 2 U.S. Black Hawk helicopters were shot down by Somali militia, leaving soldiers stranded in hostile territory. What followed was an 18-hour fight for survival. U.S. forces were pinned down, with soldiers facing constant sniper fire and rocket-propelled grenades, RPGs, in a densely populated urban environment. The mission was supposed to be a quick raid, but it turned into a grueling battle in one of the most dangerous urban terrains imaginable. The battle resulted in 18 U.S. soldiers killed and many more wounded. Although the operation failed to capture Aidid, it showcased the dangers of urban warfare and the complexity of operations in unfamiliar, hostile environments. It highlighted the sacrifices that U.S. Special Forces make when engaging in high-risk operations, particularly when the mission is conducted in challenging, dangerous terrain. 5. Operation Anaconda, 2002. Operation Anaconda, launched in March 2002, was one of the largest ground assaults in U.S. military history. The mission was aimed at eliminating Al-Qaeda and Taliban fighters entrenched in the Shah-i-Kot Valley in eastern Afghanistan. The operation involved U.S. Special Forces, conventional forces, and extensive air support. However, the mission quickly became more complicated than anticipated. The operation began with a series of airstrikes designed to soften up enemy positions, but the fighters in the valley were well prepared and heavily entrenched. As U.S. ground forces moved in, they faced stiff resistance, including sniper fire, RPGs, and close-quarters combat. The terrain in the valley was rugged, which made it difficult for U.S. forces to maneuver and communicate effectively. The mission involved several battles across a wide area, and U.S. Special Forces had to engage in intense combat against a determined enemy. Despite facing overwhelming opposition, The mission was successful in eliminating key targets and dismantling Al-Qaeda operations. However, it came at a high cost. Several U.S. Special Forces soldiers were killed, and many others were wounded. The danger of Operation Anaconda lay not only in the enemy forces, but also in the challenging mountainous terrain, which made the operation more difficult and dangerous. The operation highlighted the risks of conducting large-scale operations in hostile regions, particularly when the enemy is well prepared and fighting from entrenched positions. Conclusion: U.S. Special Forces are known for carrying out some of the most dangerous and high-stakes missions in military history. From the elimination of Osama bin Laden in Operation Neptune Spear to the tragic but heroic Operation Red Wings, the daring rescue of Captain Phillips, the deadly Battle of Mogadishu, and the massive Operation Anaconda, these missions stand as testaments to the courage, dedication, and sacrifice of U.S. Special Forces. Each mission posed unique and perilous challenges, requiring extraordinary bravery, precision, and adaptability. These elite soldiers put their lives on the line every day, operating in some of the most hostile environments on the planet. While many of these missions were successful, they came at great personal and collective cost, underscoring the dangerous nature of special operations warfare. As we honor the men and women who undertake these missions, we recognize their sacrifices and their unwavering commitment to national security. The bravery of U.S. Special Forces continues to be an inspiration for generations to come.